Hey guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Kortex Media Podcast, where we navigate the fast-paced world of automotive and more. I'm your host, Corson Schmidt. Here today, I have Matt Butcher from Northern Roads Auto Group. Matt is an experienced automotive professional with over 20 years of industry experience. Having worked every role within a dealership, Matt brings a rare, holistic perspective to dealership operations. He's a self-taught expert who has completed extensive training with OEMs, CDK, NCM, and most recently, the Automotive Business Program at Georgian College. Matt's leadership was recognized with a 40 Under 40 Business Achievement Award for his work with Northern Roads Auto Group, and he served 4 years at Kia's Parts and Service Committee, helping shape dealer programs nationwide. Matt is committed to elevating both the employee and customer experience. His vision centers in innovation, collaboration, and continuous growth, driving Northern Roads Auto Group to the new heights in rapidly evolving automotive landscape. It's great to have you on, Matt.
Thank you.
No worries. So we'll start by diving in, talking about your background. So can you share how your passion for the automotive industry began and what inspired you to pursue a lifelong career?
Of course. Essentially, I've been in automotive my entire life. My first job I've ever had was in automotive, of course, right at the bottom of the food chain, washing cars. So I started off at Saturn Sub of London, Ontario, when I was 14 years old. So it was a part-time job, um, working there after school, weekends, washing cars, which quickly evolved into a high school co-op where I was spending most of my days at the dealership, doing an apprenticeship in the shop, working on cars, turning wrenches. Um, Always grew up loving cars. Was always going to racetracks. Was always working on my own cars, building engines, doing everything I possibly could automotive. So, natural path for me was to follow it and make a career of it. So, um, working at Saturn Sub of London, I worked as a service advisor. I worked as a parts person. I worked with the used car department, which really gave me a basis for my career. Taught me all aspects of the dealership. Starting my career with a brand like Saturn, Saturn was heavily focused on customer experience, the way you treat your customer, the way you make them feel when they buy a car, the way they had second delivery nights, they had women's nights, they had a ton of information available. Um, Everything that made Saturn was all, they sold the same cars as other GM dealers, but everything was based around the customer experience. So I don't think I could have asked for a better brand to start my career with, because a lot of philosophies that they had, I now share into Northern Roads Auto Group. From having comfortable waiting rooms to having snacks available to having drinks for our customers, not the bare minimum of here's a glass of water, making sure that when you come to our dealerships and you sit down in our showroom, that our receptionists or our experience managers are going to actually provide you a proper experience. Um, I left automotive for a short while to work in banking, and I quickly missed the hustle of the automotive world. Um, I think what most people in automotive love the most is the hustle, the grind, and the fast-paced work experience. So um, you've always got 10 things on the go. You've always got things changing. You've got to be extremely fast to adopt to change, especially in the past decade. It seems things are coming at
Sure.
us quicker than ever. Um, so after I got back into banking, I actually moved to Vancouver, where I started working for Kia as an OEM, working as a service advisor at a store, which quickly progressed to an assistant service manager, fixed manager, to overseeing multiple stores. Um, I went to work for Dick Irwin Auto Group as a fixed operations manager at a brand new built Kia store, which quickly led to where I am now. I met my now business partner Mo Eftekari, um, at Kiev North Shore, and after our relationship, we worked together for about 3 to 4 years, and we made the move back to Niagara Falls, where we managed Cardinal Kia in Niagara Falls. So we took over that store in 2019. Shortly after that, our other partner, Luciano Patera, he decided to come back into the automotive realm with us full time when we formed Northern Roads Auto Group, which we have been acquiring stores as quickly as we possibly can, which explains my receding hairline. Um, we acquired Lindsay Kia very promptly. I believe Lindsay Kia was acquired in 2022. We then acquired Belleville Chrysler in 2023. And we do have a couple other acquisitions that are going to be announced very shortly. So we're extremely excited about that.
Super
Excited to keep
exciting.
growing and excited to see what the future has for us.
That's awesome. So if you don't mind giving the audience just a little bit of not background, but just some insights on what you guys do and where you guys have locations.
Yeah, so we have Cardinal Kia, which is located in Niagara Falls. Cardinal Kia consistently performs at the top of their region. High volume Kia store. Prior to COVID, we were selling 100 plus new cars a month, and up to
Wow.
60, actually 65, 75, 80 used cars a month, depending on the month.
That's awesome.
Um, Obviously, COVID with supply chain issues, things like that, uh, definitely beat those numbers down a little bit. Although we were able to maintain profitability through COVID, which was fantastic. I know COVID, it was different to navigate, but we did a change very quickly. So where a lot of dealers did struggle, we were able to maintain profitability, introduce a ton of new product in our service department, parts department, F&I office that really helped us maintain profitability through the crisis. We have Lindsay Kia, which is in Lindsay, Ontario. Lindsay Kia is a smaller operation, smaller store. Nonetheless, it opened up the possibility of sharing inventory with the Kia store in Niagara Falls, which was fantastic for us, especially with such limited inventory available to us. It made it possible that we basically share inventory between our stores.
Hmm.
If something sells from my Niagara store to a customer in Lindsay, it's fair game. We ship it over. A deal's a deal, and make sure we have the cars available for our customers. We acquired Belleville Chrysler in 2023, which was our first acquisition at a domestic store. Um, Stellantis obviously is undergoing some overhauling and some big changes. I mean,
Yeah.
we happened to acquire a Stellantis store in the year they decided to get rid of the Hemi. So I mean that was definitely something to overcome and adapt to. Apparently the Hemi is now coming back this year, so
Oh, awesome.
that's good. But we've been extremely successful at our Belleville Chrysler store. We've increased our used car sales. Belleville's proven to be an extremely good used car market. We've got a huge offering of F&I product here. We've got an extremely strong F&I department, which is really helping us maintain profitability at this store.
That's super exciting. So you guys have a couple stores on the road, and you have said you have a couple more to announce that are
Yeah,
could
we
be
have
coming soon.
couple new acquisitions that will be coming up very shortly,
That's
which
super
we are
exciting.
extremely excited about. That will really shift our portfolio. So we're extremely excited about it.
For sure, for sure. Um, can you share a little bit more about your role in Northern Roads and how it fits into the bigger picture? What a typical day kind of looks like for you?
Of course. So my current role is Vice President of Northern Roads Auto Group. Um, Vice President is a very vague term in an auto group, and it's vague for a reason. A lot of larger auto groups, you'll have Vice President of Fixed Operations or Vice President of Sales, Vice President of Finance. But given my nature, my background, working every single role in a dealership at a professional level and a successful level, um, I'm just vice president. I go to whatever store needs me, whatever store needs training, whatever store needs assistance, and I'll work with them for as long as I need. My expertise obviously is primarily in fixed operations, but not to say I won't sit down with an F&I manager, salespeople. One thing from the fixed operations side that I've learned is strong policies, strong procedures. So implementing lead procedures and lead policies in sales departments helped our auto group be extremely effective in handling the leads. We are extremely visible with our online presence for all of our stores. Cardinal Kia has probably one of the most impressive YouTube channels of any auto retailer in Canada. I think there's only probably two other stores that I would feel somewhat challenged by, but our online presence is absolutely huge. There's it's pretty much impossible if you visit Niagara Falls and you're on Facebook or Instagram or any Meta product that you are not going to see an ad from us. Um, so my role is I like to refer to myself as a professional band-aid. Wherever it needs help, that's where I go. Um, my role is heavily focused on empowering people, giving them the tools and the training that they need. In 2024, we spent.
Becky Barrett, you have a call holding Park 1.
Sorry
Becky,
about that.
you have a call holding
Okay.
Park 1.
We spent an all-time high for our auto group. We spent 4% of our gross profit on employee training. We utilized a training partner, NCM. We wanted to make sure that we gave every single one of our employees as much training as we possibly can to make sure that they could do the job properly so that they could provide the experience for our customers.
For sure.
Myself, I've always been a firm believer, take advantage of any training, any training is going to empower you to do your job better. So another part of my role is making sure that all my employees feel empowered, making sure that they have the tools to do their job, they have the tools to take care of our customers. Very rarely at any of our stores will you ever hear a service advisor or a sales consultant or an F&I manager say, "Let me get a manager to help you out." We prefer operating on the basis that we give you the tools, we give you the knowledge that you can make educated decisions to take care of a customer instantaneously. Which has worked really well for us. Another thing that I pride myself on is hiring from within. So part of my role is not only empowering employees in their current position, but empowering employees to progress their career with us. So we do have career paths in place for a number of people within our auto group, and those are designed to provide basically checks of how to get to the next level. So if you complete this training, if you meet these KPIs, then you qualify to go to the next level.
Super
As
cool.
we continue to scale, it's extremely important that we can continue to grow our talent. So everything I do is based around growing talent and making sure that we're ready for all of the acquisitions coming.
For sure. And that's nice that you offer that program because that's kind of similar to what you went through. You've been through every role, you've experienced everything, and now you're offering that to your employees, giving
Which
them
is unique.
opportunities that you have.
I mean, a lot of people are either focused on the variable side or they're focused on the fixed side. So having the background where I've worked every single role, it really helps me create career plans or career paths for employees that are actually going to be beneficial for their position.
For sure. And they get a little taste of different things throughout the company as well, and you guys get to give them that knowledge and help them grow as an individual.
For sure.
How do you foster a culture of collaboration and continuous improvement within the organization? So how do you foster that good employee mentality to keep everyone happy all the time, keep everyone working at their 100%?
I mean, I don't think you're ever going to have everyone happy 100% of the time. I think that's
fair enough.
Pretty much impossible. We do our best to foster good morale and make sure everyone's as happy as they possibly can be. And we do it in a number of ways. We're big believers in cross training. So when I have when I hire a service advisor for my service department, part of the onboarding process is they have to work in the parts department. Um, Not only do they have to work in the parts department, but they have to job shadow in the shop for a day. And it's really important part of the onboarding process so that everyone understands the friction points that each employee goes through. So a lot of time you'll have technicians getting frustrated with service advisors, or you'll have technicians getting frustrated with parts people, service advisors with parts people. Whereas when you cross train them, they understand the roadblocks or the hurdles that the other person has to overcome. It really makes, rather than them butting heads, they can have open conversations as to, hey, I understand what's going on. I understand why there's a roadblock. Maybe we can do this to overcome it and work as a team to get a solution. Um, One problem I see in a lot of car dealerships is they operate as siloed departments. So they have a parts department, they have a service department, they have an F&I department, used and new. And what a lot of people in the dealership world forget is if we don't provide a good experience to our customer, they're never mad at the sales department. They're never mad at the service department. It's Cardinal Kia or Lindsay Kia let us down. It's not an individual department. So we actually part of our quarterly auto group meetings are always about customer experience and what we can do to elevate customer experience. We always recognize people within our group um, on a quarterly basis that have provide elevated customer experiences or that do things out of the norm to provide these elevated customer experiences. We're always looking for the little things that are going to change a customer experience, whether it be making sure the vehicle is pulled around for a customer. Like I said earlier, making sure when a customer sits here that they're getting treated like they would if they were at my home. Making sure they have a drink in hand, making sure that they have snacks available to them, making sure that if there's children with one of our customers, that they have an area to play, that they have books available, that they have, an iPad, something to keep them busy.
Yeah,
I mean, from someone that has young children, um, I know what it would be like waiting for an hour and a half, 2 hours for my vehicle to be done. I want to make sure that that customer is as comfortable as they possibly can be.
for sure. No,
Uh,
that's the great point there, especially if the
and
people that don't have a second vehicle that need to wait with their kids and they're bouncing off the walls, bugging all the employees if you have something in place
Of
to
course, I mean,
distract them a little bit.
at some of, I mean, at Cardinal Key in Niagara Falls, we always do our best to get customers back home. So
Yeah,
we utilize Uber with probably 90% of our customers, getting the customer a ride home, getting them picked up when the vehicle's done. Unfortunately, in demographics like Belleville and Lindsay, you don't have that luxury of Uber.
yeah,
So you can run a shuttle all day long, but I mean, we could be going 50 kilometers to the north, we could be going 50 kilometers to the south. So your shuttle's never going to be nearly as effective as an Uber driver that I can call 7 Uber drivers and they'll be there within 10 minutes.
yeah. No,
So,
that's a great business model is actually taking them home and making
yeah.
them feel. Then they have their own comfort of the home. They're not waiting around. They can actually do stuff around the
And I mean,
house.
it provides, yes, obviously it helps our customer experience, but it also helps our operations as well. I mean, when we want to get every customer's vehicle in for that full inspection, do the video MPI, make sure we're thorough with the vehicle, it provides us a leeway that if a customer's at home, I don't have to get this done in an hour. I'm okay to set the expectation that I need your car for 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then you can, and the nice thing about that, if you tell the customer, hey, it's going to be an hour with the service department or service technicians, it always takes longer than the estimated time. That's just
We're a
how, that's
department that
just,
deals with problems. So, I mean,
yeah,
to set a time expectation of an hour to solve a problem, you got to be crazy.
yeah,
It's the time we don't know what's wrong yet. So how do you set
yeah,
a time expectation?
exactly. Yeah, for sure. Who was your biggest role model in your journey of becoming who you are now?
I mean, I've had a lot of role models. I mean, obviously from an early age, my father's always been a huge role model to myself. My father started his career. He was working part time at Bank of Montreal, and he was working overnights at a gas station. My father recently retired as vice president of Bank of Montreal.
Wow.
So going from working part-time as at an entry-level position, I think it was actually cleaning the buildings, was how he started with Bank of Montreal, to him finishing his career as a vice president for Bank of Montreal. Bank of Montreal put him through school. They sponsored him to get his MBA. So obviously that was for me to look up to. That was hugely motivating to me. That I can start at the bottom, and as a young kid washing cars, that maybe one day I can own a dealership. Maybe one day I can be partner in a dealership. Uh, I'm not always going to work for someone.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, I've had some great role models and mentors along the way. I've worked with some really good friends. I mean, obviously, I've mentioned my business partners Mo Aftakari and Luciano Patera. They've both provided me a ton of insight in the business. Mo Aftakari, working with him for Dick Irwin Group, he always made sure I had every single training I could possibly have, from going to 20 performance groups to always being a part of. I mean, we built a brand new facility under Dick Irwin, so always being part of the planning, and always making sure that I was always a part of the company events and staff events and any training I possibly could do. To whenever the OEMs were, there was conversations with OEMs, always making sure I was in the room, whether I was involved or not, just making sure I was there so I could get the insight, and take it
Get
in.
that, take that
Um,
knowledge and
so I mean, he always made sure I had a ton of training, and that's kind of how we operate our business now. Is give everyone as much knowledge as we possibly can and let them shine. So
that's
if
super
we give
cool.
them the tools, maybe not every single person's going to shine, but I'm going to have a couple of people out of a group that are really going to elevate themselves. So he's been incredibly helpful with my career. Luciano Batera, who I mean by trade is a lawyer. He was head counsel for Cox Automotive for years. Um, he provides me insight on different aspects of the business, on the legal aspects, on the contracting, funding, financing, all of that fun stuff. So he's opened up a whole new window for me.
That's super cool. That's nice that you have a good team around you that's supporting everything you're doing inside the company, as well as
Yeah.
from the knowledge aspect, helping your employees even gain that knowledge as well. What major trends are you seeing in the automotive retail space, and how
Um,
are you guys yourself adapting to those two trends?
I mean, like I said, I mean, in the past decade, we've been constantly adjusting. We
Yeah.
went through COVID, where there's mass panic, which led to, we had a couple slow months, but then it was followed by 24 to 36 months of record-breaking sales, record-breaking service months. We've The trends I'm seeing is, for auto dealers to be successful, they need to be extremely fast to adopt. You can't, it's not business as usual. There's something
Hmm.
new coming at us constantly. The dealers that think they're going to be okay running their print ads, putting their radio ads on, and that they're going to remain relevant, they're not going to remain relevant. With the age of digital, the way we do business is, there's such a procedure to it that needs to be taken every single time, that, especially right now with borrowing rates higher than we've seen before. Floor plan interest is always top of mind, so making sure that our used cars are on the lot very quickly, making sure we're watching our floor plan costs. Um, Dealers for years have been profitable with doing without doing much, with being very, very passive. Now, dealers, in order to be profitable, you've really got to trim a lot of the fat. A lot of dealers have got very comfortable taking in a ton of third-party softwares and using different softwares for everything, or having too many staff. I find overstaffing a dealership is one of the worst things you can possibly do, because it teaches your employees complacency. Um, a lot of dealers may have 35, 40 staff when they can do the same operation in 25 or with 25 employees. We saw a lot of fat get trimmed at the beginning of COVID at a lot of dealers. And I say that from experience with dealers in 20 groups and along those. We saw a lot of people really trim their employee expense. But over the 4 or 5 years following, um, we've seen employee expense creep back up at a lot of dealers. Um, as far as trends that are actually affecting sales, I mean, obviously the tariffs is top of mind for everyone.
For sure, yeah.
No one really knows the full impact that it's going to have on us because it's not simply we're getting a vehicle from the United States, we're going to pay 25% more.
Yeah.
It's we're getting a vehicle from the United States. How many of those parts were tariffs charged on? So we're going to pay tariffs on all of the parts that are going into the vehicle, but then we're also going to pay a tariff on the final product. So no one really knows how that's going to affect pricing on our inventory. What we do know is that some brands are going to be less affected than others. I mean, companies like Kia that are shipping us most of the product now. Most of the product from the U.S. has now been stopped, but most of the product is coming directly from Korea. We still have free trade agreements with. Companies like Stellantis are still trying to change the trade routes. So a lot of our vehicles that are currently manufactured in Windsor and Detroit are now shifting to be manufactured in Mexico, which is going to change the way we do business. I mean, I could order a truck and I could have a truck in a matter of 2 to 4 weeks for a custom order truck. Obviously, that's going to change with the vehicle coming all the way from Mexico. What that means for dealers, I've got to stock more vehicles. My floor plan interest is going to go up. If my floor plan interest goes up, it means I've got to hold more gross in a car deal. I've got to have more front end, more back end, and we've got to retain it. Problem with Stellantis as a brand right now is there's so many dealers that it's a consistent race to the bottom. So I think some brands are going to struggle more than others. But at the end of the day, I think a lot of the challenges that we've been dealing with are making the strong dealers stronger, and it's going to weed out a lot of the weak dealers.
Sure. And that's kind of what COVID did as well, right? It kind of set that gap between who's going to excel and who really depreciated in their service and in their sales.
It's crazy to hear that there were some dealers that just decided to close their doors during COVID that we're not even going to open. I know for a fact I was at work every single day during COVID, and at that point I was ridiculously thankful that I knew how to do every single job in the dealership. Because you want to buy a car, no problem. I can help you with that. You're dropping your car off for service, no problem. I can help you out with that. We did lay off a number of employees for a very short time, just at the very beginning, when we really didn't know no one knew what was going on.
No one knew.
So we did lay off a number of employees, which we brought back very quickly. It was kind of if you'd like to be laid off, if you have vulnerable family or if you have high risk people, then by all means you can volunteer to be laid off. But no one knew what was going on, so it was at that point it was very nice to have all the skills I have.
For sure. And you spoke earlier saying that a lot of dealerships are overstaffed and they have silo employees.
Mm-hmm.
Where in your company, you guys try to mix and match to give that knowledge that everyone knows a little bit of everything, kind of like yourself. That really steps you guys up compared to your normal dealer. Like you said, during COVID, you were the guy. If someone brought their car in, you could help them with anything. If they needed service, if they needed maybe even a tire inflation, I bet you know how to do that. So even just something like that, where a lot of dealers won't have that because they're stuck in one specific silo, like you said. And I think the tariffs are going to be another, similar to COVID. They're gonna strain out the strong dealers versus the regular small dealership.
We definitely have seen a little slowdown in new car sales. which isn't something that we would have predicted. We would have predicted that new car sales would have somewhat excelled
Yeah.
with kind of the buy rush that let's buy before the tariffs hit. But I think more and more that people have just gone into, I need to save my money, I need to pay off some debt. Which, if you look at a number of the leading news sources, that's what they're telling consumers to do.
Yeah.
Which is actually not the best thing for the economy.
For sure. For sure. Um, do you think the retainment of used, like buying used cars, is going to get a lot harder now that we're not going to have that? Now that you have to pay more, obviously, from the States, but do you think there's going to be more used cars coming on the market and people looking towards new cars, or do you think people are just going to stop buying and selling cars for a little bit until things pan out?
I mean, by no means do I think people are going to stop buying cars.
Yeah.
You've got people that buy cars because they really want a new car, and you've got people that buy cars out of necessity. I mean, every single day vehicles are written off, vehicles break down, vehicles are aged out. It's kind of the natural cycle of automobiles. So I mean, we're always going to have customers, but I think are the people that are buying $100,000 pickup truck because they really want a pickup truck to go camping this summer. I think we're going to see fewer and fewer of those.
For sure.
The people that are buying entry level vehicles, I think we're still going to have those. I think people that are buying people that are buying a vehicle out of necessity, it's never going to stop. Even if our vehicles go up $10,000, I mean, people still need cars.
Mm-hmm.
I think our used car market has been harder to navigate in the past 5 years than it's ever been in the past 20 years I've been in automotive. Um, Used car values are astronomical. We've still got vehicles that right now are selling used more than they are brand new, which is something that you rarely see. I mean, vehicles like a Toyota Sienna, if you get a brand new one and you sell it after 6 months, you're going to sell it for 5 grand more than you bought it for.
Yeah.
See things like that happening. It's what is going on in the market right now. I mean, we've got the values are being driven obviously by strong US dollar, that they can basically buy our vehicles at retail values or above retail values, even with shipping and the expense of crossing border, that it still financially makes sense. And I think we're going to struggle with that until we see the Canadian dollar gain some traction. Um, we're already as the Canadian market, a lot of our used vehicles are being eaten up by the American market. I mean, right now, I remember 5 years, maybe 6 years ago, we used to have an under $10,000 section on our used car lot at every
Yeah.
store. You'd see it at every store had an under 10K, manager special section, whatever it may be. They were the cars that were maintained too well to be a wholesale car.
Yeah.
That under 10K that under 10K section has now become an under 20K, under 30K section. If I have a vehicle that's under 20K on my lot, it typically lasts for about 48 hours.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's in the past 5 years. Like,
Yeah,
that's not a,
the used car market has, when you get good used cars, it's they go really, really quick.
for sure. For sure. And where do you think the automotive sector is going to go? Are we going to keep seeing more EVs get built? Are we going to see more hybrids? What is the direction that the manufacturers are going to go, in your opinion, in North America?
I mean, I know there's a lot of pushback from a lot of people in the industry about electric vehicles. I don't think electric vehicles is ever going to go away. I don't think it's just going to come to a drastic halt. I think that more and more people are opening their minds to driving an electric vehicle.
For sure.
I think a lot of manufacturers like Toyota um, may have made the right call of rather than making EVs to continue pushing their hybrid product, which I think, I mean, you look at waiting lists for their new product right now, and obviously what they did worked.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Kia is now going to be, I mean, we're seeing more hybrids now from Kia than we've ever seen before. We've got the hybrid Sportage, we've got the Kia Niro, we've got the hybrid Sorento, and we're seeing sales increase on those day by day. I think hybrids, just for people in Canada, I think hybrid sales are really going to take off. I still think that there's a segment of the market that's always going to be EV. I mean, there's some people, when you present numbers and you present a case on why you should buy an EV, there's some people that you can't argue the case. If you commute under 150 to 200 kilometers to work every single day, it makes sense.
For sure. Yeah.
You can get there without any fuel. If you're someone like myself that drives 15,000 kilometers a month, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
I'm not sitting at an on-route charging my car when I need to be on the road.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely going to be a segment for sure. I think we'll probably see a lot more EV manufacturers, niche brands, and things like that come into the market. Um, and I think our parts and service departments are going to adjust for the EVs coming into market as well. I know the investments we've had to make in electric vehicles at all of our stores. That investment is not cheap. It's extremely significant. We're building a brand new facility for Cardinal Kia currently, a 40,000 square foot facility. We've got there's eight charging stations, four level three stations. The
Wow.
investment we're making in EV at that store is absolutely astronomical.
That's super cool. That's awesome. New beginnings coming soon.
Yeah,
Um,
we're patiently waiting. We've been designing this building, I think, since 2020, uh,
wow.
which when COVID hit, it was really put a damper in getting the new building
For
going
sure.
because we couldn't get any building material. Even to this day, we're still running into, obviously, so the structural steel for our building was coming out of the U.S., so there was a huge push to get the steel here as soon as tariffs were announced. A lot of our equipment, Hunter alignment racks, wheel balancers,
Yeah.
Challenger lifts, all of the products, most of it's coming out of the U.S.
Yeah.
So there was a mad dash when tariffs were announced that get this stuff out of the U.S., get it here, get it in holding lots, just get the containers here because I'm sure you can imagine when you're paying 25% more on millions and millions of dollars of equipment,
For
it
sure.
makes for a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. No, that totally would. But no, that's super exciting that you guys have a new pad coming up here soon.
Yeah, no,
And
we're extremely excited about it.
no, that's awesome. Can't wait to hear where it's located and more about it when you drop that. I'm assuming you're
Yeah.
not dropping the location yet.
Honestly, so new Cardinal Kia is a block away from old Cardinal Kia.
Oh,
Uh,
perfect.
it's uh, it's right there, so it'll be nice when it's done. Everyone can grab their pens and pencils and walk over to the new building.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are there any recent innovations or process changes internally that you've implemented that made a significant impact on customer satisfaction or business results? Kind of more towards the digital side of the business itself.
Yeah, I mean, at every single one of our stores, um, everything from our online booking tools, just making the experience extremely easy. One thing that frustrates me is when I call dealerships, I can't get through to someone.
Hmm.
Happens all the time. You're calling for parts, calling for service, and you just can't get someone on the phone. To me, it's totally unacceptable. We're all living in the Amazon era of I can do something instantaneous, and everyone's in that mentality.
Yeah,
So if I can't call a car dealership and I can't book an appointment to give them my money instantaneously, there's an issue.
for sure.
Uh, the one great thing about cross-training staff members in our dealerships is when the phone rings for an appointment, it doesn't ring to an appointment coordinator. It rings to
Hmm.
everybody in my parts and service department. So I don't have one person that can answer that phone call. At some stores there's seven, at some there's six, at some there's nine. Um, there's everyone can take a phone call for an appointment because guess what? If that phone call gets answered and my parts people book an appointment, they're probably going to sell some parts on that repair order. So it
Yeah,
works in the best interest of everyone. So I mean, cross training has been a big thing for us, and then technology. I mean, our online booking tools, we're constantly checking them on a weekly basis, making sure our pricing's up to date, making sure that they work seamlessly, making sure that I can go onto my website right now, I can book an appointment, and it's going to work seamlessly. Um, we also have started using AI booking at some of our stores. So
super cool.
AI booking is, I mean, AI has come such a far way in such a
Huge.
short time. I mean, we've always used AI for, not always, but in the past 2 years, we've used AI for tons of things, whether it be creating call scripts or creating email blast templates.
Yeah,
So now we're using it for our incoming phone calls, that it's an AI phone agent that's actually receiving the phone call. Um, and it actually, so it's the AI softwares we've actually been piloting for a U.S. company, helping them create it. So we're the first auto group in Canada to actually implement it, and it works
cool.
fantastic. When you call, I mean, yes, you can tell it's not a live
Yeah,
person, uh, but I would like to think it's kind of as close as you possibly can. That it's not the awkward, super awkward AI agent that sounds like Siri. It sounds very human. The flows are very good. Um, and you can book an appointment in real time with an AI agent. So when you book
that's
the appointment, it pushes directly to our DMS, sends a customer confirmation text message that you can put into your iCalendar, your Outlook calendar, and
super
it works
cool.
super seamlessly. And we've actually got it to the point where we actually have our incoming AI agent able to upsell on appointments,
No
uh,
way.
where we're actually seeing our hours per RO being booked higher with an AI agent than live agent at some of our stores.
Wow, that's pretty
So
crazy.
we're always utilizing as much technology as possible. 3 months ago, we implemented digital inspections at every single one of our stores, where the customer receives a digital copy of the inspection, which includes videos, pictures, and we did that more so just for transparency to make sure that customers see what we're seeing, um, and that we could build value in our services. I mean, by
For
no means
sure.
do I ever want to be the cheapest service provider in the market, nor do I want to be the most expensive.
Yeah,
I do want to provide the best service, and I want to provide the most value in our service.
for sure.
Um, so having those tools, I think, just helps us build the value, um, and build the retention. I mean, as far as the industry is going, I think all dealers right now should be focusing on building their car park, building units in operation.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting rich selling cars. We're not making huge front end grosses. So the longevity of a customer is what should be top of mind for everyone right now.
For sure. If you can keep someone coming back, even for service benefits, they're gonna look at the vehicles every time they bring their old car. They'll be like, "Oh,
Of course,
what's
I
new?
mean,
What's new today?"
if you look at stats in Canada, the likelihood that I'm going to sell a customer or sell a new vehicle to an existing customer, I'm 75% more likely to sell a vehicle to someone that already services with me than
For sure.
pulling someone from outside.
And if you can get a good community around it and get a good amount of people on board, you're gonna have your service department might be full all the time of reoccurring customers
Of course,
that
I
they
mean,
know you treat well, and they're gonna keep coming back to you. And when they do need a new vehicle, be like, "Hey, these guys are they're the shit. Let's
and
go to
I
them."
mean, referrals is the cheapest advertising we can do.
For sure. No, that's super amazing. And the AI aspect is it's pretty unreal what it can do these days, especially with the voice agent and booking calls.
Yeah,
It's
and I
it's
mean,
something that's revolutionary.
you look at some of the lead response tools and things like that. It really is unique. I mean, we're not quite there for our sales team because I mean, we use live agents here,
Yeah.
for our sales team, and we have a response time of under 3 minutes. So if I can maintain that with live people,
Yeah.
uh, I like the live response where it's not generic, and I mean, we've all seen the super cheese chat GPT responses sometimes. So if we can keep it real and have a real face to it, then I think that's best for now.
For sure. And at least with that AI phone agent, at least there's, like you said, you'll call a dealership. There's no one answering the phone. You go straight to voicemail or you go straight to the answering machine. At least
Yeah.
you have something there. You have someone to talk to that if you need directed to the person, it can direct you to that person you need to talk to. Book an appointment, boom, you're in. You can get in.
If you can book an appointment, and I mean, I can personally guarantee that. So if you can't book an appointment, you can opt out of the AI agent at any time. But you have access to the AI agent 24/7. So if you call at 3 a.m. tonight or tomorrow morning, you're going to be able to book an appointment for my service department for that day.
Yeah.
If it's during business hours, if you opt out of the AI agent, I guarantee you one of my 7 or 8 parts and service reps are going to answer the phone.
For sure.
That's one thing that we make sure our phones get answered.
That's a big thing. And it's good that you guys are staying on top of that, for sure, because the customers pay your bills, right? They keep the lights on in the building, so you got to keep them coming in. You got to keep them happy.
It's most frustrating when you're trying to give someone your money and they don't answer the phone.
For sure, for sure. No, that makes sense. What are your top priorities for Northern Roads over the next year? What are some of the big goals that you have lined up? Obviously, moving into the new building.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking forward to moving into our new facility. We're expecting to be in the new facility for January and hosting a grand opening in March. Like I said, Northern Roads, we're still aggressively trying to acquire other dealerships. We've got extremely optimistic goals. We would like to get up to 10 rooftops, and we'd like to do that in the next 5 years.
That's awesome.
Which a lot of people in the industry would tell you you're absolutely crazy. But I think it's absolutely doable, and I think some of the things that we've put in place where we're harvesting our talent from within, where we're growing our own managers, is really going to help us.
For sure.
I think if we can constantly have that mill where we hire people for entry level positions and we train them, so we're constantly growing managers and higher end management for other positions at other stores. That's going to give us talent that's going to help us carry the workload at all these new stores. The other thing is when I can grow someone from the bottom up, we can do everything we can to make sure they don't develop bad habits in the industry. There's always been a stigma around the auto industry, and we want to eliminate that as best as we possibly can. So if I can teach someone from the ground up, we can make sure that they're not falling into some of these traps and things that some other dealers may have. Making sure that we're doing everything in a customer-centric way, and making sure that we're doing everything that we all remember that we're here to take care of customers. We're here to provide a good customer experience, and it's okay to make some money while we do it. That's awesome. We're in business. It's okay to make money, but doing it in an honest way.
For sure. No, that's awesome. That's super exciting that you guys have big goals, because if you guys think you can achieve it, you're gonna do it. And as long as you keep pushing forward and buying those new buildings,
we're gonna keep pushing. That's for sure.
That's
next
awesome.
time next time we talk, I won't have any hair left, but we're gonna keep pushing.
That's awesome. Are there any new technologies or processes you're particularly excited to implement to drive efficiencies and customers' experience further, or have you guys implement the systems that you're looking for and just honestly, focusing more on person to person?
Yeah, I think what we're most excited for is a lot of the AI technology coming down the pipeline. I mean, we're keeping a very close eye on it. If there's something that's going to help our operation, we're always quick to implement. But we've always run our operations at really based on our people. So the innovations we're most excited for, it's not necessarily technology. It's more so seeing what the people that we've been fostering, the people that we've been training, seeing what they're going to bring to our business. We've got a lot of young managers that have come such a far way in the past 2, 3 years, to see what the next generation of managers are going to bring to our business. We always have open conversations. We always, whenever we're trying to change something or whenever we're looking for advice on something, whenever we have a problem that we need to address, we try to involve as many heads as we possibly can, so we get as many people's opinions, so we can come up with creative ideas to solve a
For
problem.
sure. No,
Um,
that's
so I think what we're most excited about is really just to see how a lot of our career coaching, how a lot of our career paths, how a lot of our training is going to pay off for us in the future. The investment we've made in training is more than more than any dealer I've ever seen make. So to see how that's going to pay off for us in the future we're extremely excited for that.
that's awesome. And the nice thing about that is growing your own managers and having those heads in those meetings and discussions is you're helping expand their knowledge as well, get them thinking in different ways on how they can do things a little
No,
differently and also help you guys get some
there's
results
nothing
as
more
well.
exciting than watching someone that's worked under you for 5 to 10 years and watch them go from here to here.
For
Watching
sure.
someone's career progress, uh, just watching them their professional development. I've got my current service manager at Cardinal Kia. I met him in 2019. In 2019, when I came to the store, he was working as an auto apprentice, but he was primarily washing cars.
Hmm.
So from 2019 to today, I watched him go from 2019 as an auto apprentice washing cars to fully being an apprentice in the shop to he was a master EV certified apprentice, which was almost unheard of,
Yeah.
to he became a licensed technician, a master EV licensed technician, where he was my top producing technician in the shop, where he was turning anywhere from 140 to 160 hours in a pay period, which is huge.
Massive.
Um, to him saying, you know what, I want to become, I want to work in the front now. So he became my assistant service manager, and recently in December we promoted him to service manager. But to watch someone's career go from here to here, especially that quickly, and while they're maintaining a huge level of quality and profitability, is extremely exciting.
That's awesome. No, that's super cool. And it's nice that the younger generation is still interested in moving
Yeah.
forward because I've heard that's a lot of the setback is there's not many skilled trades workers that want
Yeah,
to
I mean the business has definitely changed.
yeah.
I mean, from when I got into the business to now has changed drastically. Um, any old time car guy will tell you the industry is not what it is,
Yeah.
or not what it used to be. I mean, the terms pin to pin, bell to bell, they are non-existent now. I remember month end you would be at the store, and month end you would be at the store until 12 p.m. You'd be there till 12 a.m. You'd be there as late as you possibly needed to hit your target. If you're a
Yeah.
salesperson and you were short a car deal, you would be there bell to bell every day until you hit that target. The newer generation is more focused on work-life balance, which is probably a healthier way of going about it. Working 80-hour work weeks, it's definitely challenging. It's something that's definitely not. You definitely can't
It's
maintain it for
not.
a long time.
Yeah.
And some top achievers maintain it 100%. I, one of the reasons a lot of people fall in love with this industry is you really do get out of it what you put in. So if you give it your
Mm.
all, you're probably going to make some money. Um, but the newer generation is more about work-life balance, benefits, empowering, a lot of things like that, which is something we're adopting to or adapting to as well by keeping those employees engaged and having
Yeah.
social programs at the stores that we can keep younger generation engaged, which is one of the reasons why we are so heavy on training, to
Hmm.
give everyone the tools and keep them engaged.
That's super cool. That's awesome. If you could go back to when you started in the industry, what advice would you give your younger self?
Um, what advice would I give my younger self? Um, it's it's a challenging question because you know what? There's always a saying that you can't master one thing if you're master of all.
Yeah,
Um, but it's really having the experience in every single department is really what my entire career has been built around.
yeah. No,
Um,
that's
I did get out of the auto industry for a short while. And had I not got out of the auto industry, I probably could have excelled my career a little bit quicker. Um, which I mean, I do regret, but I think it also made me love the auto industry that much more.
for sure.
So yeah, I left for a while, but I came back with a burning passion to kick ass and take names.
That's awesome. And on the flip side, what advice would you give to a young entrepreneur or a young person wanting to get into the automotive sales, automotive service, just the automotive industry as a whole?
The advice I'd give to a young generation getting into the business, focus on doing the job really, really well. Don't focus on the money. Don't focus on the dollars and cents. Focus on doing the job. Focus on the customers. Um, if there's opportunity, don't always ask how much more money am I going to make. What else? What's in it for me? Um, focus on doing the job, impressing people, and the money will come.
That's awesome. That's some good advice. That's super cool. Where can people find you? Socials, website, the company, yourself?
Um, so my own socials, I am not very socially active. I do not use Instagram. I do not use Facebook. You can definitely find me on LinkedIn under Matt Butcher. You can find us at www.northernroads.com, uh, Cardinal Kia, Belleville Chrysler, or Lindsay Kia. If you look at northernroads.com, you will see as we announce future acquisitions.
That's super cool. Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast, Matt. You have a ton of knowledge in the industry in all aspects of the industry, not just one certain niched in part of the industry. And I think a lot of people are going to get some great insights from this podcast. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks very much, Carson. We appreciate it. And maybe when that new facility is out, we'd be happy to have you come down and you can do a walk around video of the new facility.
Super cool. Maybe a podcast in a new building as well. I'm not too far away. So
That sounds fantastic. I hope you have a
that'd be
great
cool.
day, okay?
You as well.
Thank you.